First of all, I'm a very big believer in God, and I had prayed about the show when you had asked me to be on the show, and I said, God, what do you want me to talk about? And I heard so clearly, because I'm clairaudient, the spirit within. And I think it's for us to appreciate that we are all spirit beings here on Mother Earth. And it's very important for us to tap into ourself and get to know who we are, why are we here, what's our purpose, how do we stay calm, peaceful, feel, a sense of freedom, a sense of choice, a sense of being empowered, all that kind of stuff falls into the spirit within us.
The spirit within us. It's so complex when you're taking it apart like that, and yet we do many of these things every day. Many of the things that you just said, and sometimes we do nothing of the things that you've said. So out of the comprehensive list of descriptive words that you talked about just then about who we are, and you mentioned that we should live every moment, I believe, and I was getting that feeling about that. And we should, and I think that you mentioned, and perhaps we talked about this earlier, mindfulness. About who we are and why we're here, and that we're part of this journey. So can you explain to our audience, what do you mean by mindfulness?
What I mean by mindfulness is to really live each day as if you're dying, to really look at the big picture, to really understand that each day here is a gift, and it's a miracle that we are here. And sometimes when we get so upset and we're just get into a frenzy, I think we forget just the state of gratitude, to just be just to be so aware that we don't know what tomorrow holds for us. So to be fully present today and to have that mindfulness, that sense of mindfulness, that there's so much more to our reality than the reality we're witnessing here. I call it on Earth School. This is just like one stop on our journey.
That's so interesting, because I think as you get a little bit older, you start to think more about your journey. When you're young and full of life and everything is new and open, and you're a child and you're exploring your whole world out there every day, and you're growing up with visions of what you want to do and what you want to be when you grow up, and all the things that everyone experiences who are fortunate as we to live in this wonderful country that have these opportunities. And we just keep going and going. And many of us are never taught to be mindful when we're young. We never take the time to think. And so when you're being mindful, how can we now be more mindful once we know about it?
I think the biggest way to be mindful is to appreciate that our timeline here is not all that long, and to be very positive about what can I do to make the world a better place. And besides just what can I do to make the world a better place, is what kind of relationship do I have with myself? What kind of relationship do I have with others? Do I take the time to sit with my friends? I mean, we just get so caught up in the trappings of life that I think it takes away from the bigger picture, the bigger meaning of why we're here. I think we find ourselves to be a human doing. And I think we just don't know how to just simply be anymore. Just to be. There's a beautiful passage: "Be still and know that I am God." And I think there's God within each one of us, and that's why I like to call myself a sacred activist. And it's to activate that part of yourself that you may not know even exists. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know who God was. I didn't always live my life like this. And for me, I had to have a whole transformation and a reawakening of my life to, really relish and appreciate the gift of life.
Would you, that is so beautiful about everything you did just say right now about living here and really wanting to be the best person. And it's more than just what life appears for us to be. So we have this physical body, and we have a spiritual realm, and we're many times not tapping into it. We're too busy in this frenzy that you mentioned about living our lives, and we're very connected to technology now, and it's all coming to you've said, a frenzied end, it seems, because 50 or 60 years ago or 100 years ago, people were not living like this. And many things were not even invented then. So does this seem to you that we're speeding up toward a
Absolutely.
certain point, and what would
Absolutely.
that be?
It was really funny. I went for a visit to the Museum of Art in Manhattan, and everybody was there, the Picasso exhibit.
Right.
And as I was looking at Picasso's work and his life and all the changes and the marriages and the relationships and all
Right.
the stuff that he went through, everybody was walking around on their cell phones texting. And I'm like, wow, I feel like everybody's turning into these little androids. Not that I don't use
Right.
the cell phone and not that it's purposeful, but why aren't we appreciating the art and the space and the room? And it's just like even everywhere
Exactly.
we're going, it's like, it seems like there's a disconnection
It is.
with intimacy, with
That's-
others, with ourselves, in the knowing.
And I agree with you fully about everything you've said from the moment you started speaking here tonight. And many of the things that you've talked about just now have been many thoughts that have occurred in my life, and actions as well. I see it all, all around me, whirling and twirling, and I try to keep myself in balance. But many times I'm finding that so difficult. And then people come in and out of your life, and they cause waves of whatever to happen on our journey, as you say. And you're wondering, are you supposed to be making an impression on them? Are you in their life for a purpose, or did they come into your life for a purpose? Were you meant to have an impact on them, or were they supposed to have an impact on you? And what is this message supposed to be? So I'm trying to be mindful of all of this and keep it going, and then keep running around in circles. So when you become mindful, what is a technique to become mindful that you can tell our audience tonight about? So when they're busy, what's something that can quiet us?
Okay, something very simple I say is to make an appointment with yourself. Put yourself on your own agenda, your own calendar. You schedule in appointments to see your doctor, to go to get your hair done. I don't think we schedule me time with ourselves, even if it's
Exactly.
only 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That 10 minutes can just calm you down. It can ground you. Another big thing for me is prayer. I am such a big believer in prayer. Like, take a moment, talk to God, to the God of your understanding, and just say, God, help me. I feel lost. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, or I need to calm down, or may I feel peaceful and feel the freedom that you give me. And I think when we reach out and ask for help, what's so important to me about relationship with God, and I can go on about God, is that relationships that you were talking about, they come and go all the time in our life. People are in our life for a lifetime, for a reason, for a season, for a day, for 2 years. And we have this constant shifting of relationship. But the one relationship that is constant is the relationship that we have with ourselves and the relationship that we have with Spirit. That never changes. Our physical form may change, and we may rise above energetically and get more maturity and more wisdom. I certainly have much more wisdom that I possess now than I had coming in. And I feel that the learning never stops. And when we feel that we've learned everything, shame on us. It's like, go back again. And as I say, as we play the game of life, because I think it's really key for us to be humble, to know we don't have all the answers. We don't know everything. And I believe that we're both a student and a teacher to one another at all times in our life. You can get such wisdom from a 5-year-old child.
Yes,
you can
you
get such
can.
wisdom from someone in their 90s.
Correct.
And I think we're meant to learn from one another all the time.